of the throne, and there are offices in the arms, and then the seat back up above. I've also heard that the man that oversaw the design of this building intentionally made it so the back of the throne faces New York City, because we can both be petty. That's right, turnabout is fair play, folks. We shift over here to the left side of the river. We've got the Boeing building, completed in 1990. They didn't design the building, so the doors are fine. That southwest corner of the building there is actually suspended from that truss up there on the roof. It's hanging from that truss. And that's because there are active train tracks that run beneath this building. So they couldn't install caissons or poured concrete supports beneath the entire building without interrupting that train traffic. Now, in all of these situations where builders are building over active train lines, not only does it provide for some interesting engineering challenges, it also provides some financial challenges. And that's because that land is owned by those transportation companies. And with ownership of the land comes ownership of the air above it. So buildings like the Boeing building have to lease those air rights. In this case, they pay $1.3 million a year simply to exist in that space. 1.3 million to basically rent the air that they take up. Now I do that to explain air rights, but I also pay rent on the air that I take up. So I don't, it's different, but I don't know exactly how. How are we doing? We having a good time on the river tonight? Lovely out here on the river. I will say though, the river didn't used to be such a pleasant place to hang out. All right, in the mid 1800s, sewage and factory runoff poured into the Chicago River, which then flowed out to Lake Michigan, which is where the city gets its drinking water. How refreshing. So to prevent epidemics of typhoid and cholera, which are very much on the rise, something needed to be done. That something was the digging of the Sanitary and Ship Canal. This was a canal that was dug through a nearby subcontinental divide. It took 8 years, millions of dollars, and the movement of 42 million cubic yards of earth. But on January 2nd, 1900, the canal was opened, gravity took over, and the flow of the Chicago River reversed back towards the Mississippi, rather than out to Lake Michigan. That's right, 125 years ago, engineers reversed the flow of the Chicago River. I think that's incredible. The city of St. Louis was less thrilled about it. They were getting our sewage. They actually filed an injunction against the city of Chicago just 2 weeks later. But the courts ruled with Chicago because we weren't the only polluter of the river systems, and the influx of fresh water from Lake Michigan benefited everyone down the way. Personally, I'm glad that we reversed the river, if for no other reason than some of these contextualist buildings today might look very different. The Nuveen building here on the right has an alternating pattern of blue and green glass representing the sky and the river. If we hadn't reversed the river, we might be looking at a blue and brown building right now. That wouldn't have looked nearly as impressive in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's right, this is the location of his dad's office from which he looked down onto the parade route. So we got another movie star here on the river. And I bet you thought it was going to be all Batman references, didn't you? Nope, just mostly Batman references. In my defense, I have not seen the Transformers movies. Now, the Chicago, the reversal of the river in 1900 was huge for the Chicago River, but most impactful was actually the Clean Water Act of 1972. According to the Friends of the Chicago River, there were only 10 species of fish living in the Chicago River in the 1970s. Today, there are over 70 species of fish living in the river. The river has come a long way. It's cleaner than it's been in over a century. I would not swim in it still, but we can certainly enjoy it from the boats, and we can enjoy it from the Chicago River Walk. All the land on our right here is part of a 1.3 mile continuous path between Wolf Point and Lake Michigan. Each of the sections between the bridges up ahead here are designed as distinctive rooms tailored toward different outdoor activities. Here there's some dedication, for example, to the ecology of the river, between the plots with water plants, these fish hotels sticking up out of the river here. Now, the Chicago Riverwalk was completed between 2003 and 2016, but it was originally proposed in the 1909 Plan of Chicago. This was part of Daniel Burnham's vision for the city, to have these outdoor community spaces here along the river. Also in that 1909 Plan of Chicago was a plan to widen LaSalle Street up ahead here. which did happen in 1930. They ran into an obstacle. The Reed Murdoch Center, this brick building with the clock tower up here on the left. It was completed in 1914 and and its location left too little room to widen the street. So they lopped a bit off. They cut off a bit of that building. They adjusted the facade to match. I don't know, thinking we wouldn't notice, but I can count. There are only 5 bays of windows on this side of the clock tower. There are 6 bays of windows on the other side. If anybody doesn't like looking at asymmetrical things, avert your gaze. Avert your gaze. I get it. I feel the same way. Next up, we're going to talk about this short building in between the 2 taller ones. It's got thick concrete, and you can still just make out that large number 55 at the top there. That is 55 West Wacker, completed in 1968. It's designed in a style called Brutalism. Now, Brutalism is a modernist style of architecture, so it's got those clean lines that we expect from modernism. But the use of stone and concrete in brutalist architecture provides a sense of strength and stability that made it very popular amid the turmoil of the mid-20th century, much to the dismay of the man who coined the name Brutalism. He was apparently a British architecture critic who wanted to make a pun off of the French phrase for raw concrete, béton brut, but he also wanted the name to really communicate the horror of the British public upon seeing the style for the first time. It's apparently not well received, and so we get the name Brutalism. And by the way, putting that next to the Three Blind Me's joke from earlier, architects really seem like a fun group, don't they? It's like a lot of their time is just spent throwing shade at each other. And if you think about it, the rest of their time is spent throwing shade at us. Thank you, that is the best joke on the tour. Thank you very much. Next up, we're going to talk about what is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful Art Deco buildings on the tour. That dark building with the gold on top up ahead on the right. Now, if you had a chance to see that thing during the day, goodness gracious. This is the Carbide and Carbon building. It was completed in 1929, designed by the sons of Daniel Burnham, the Burnham brothers. Now, as we were well into Prohibition here in the States at the time, it is suggested that the building was intentionally designed to look like a bottle of champagne with the green terracotta and real 24-karat gold leaf representing the bottle and the cork respectively. And you all heard me correctly. At the top of this building here is real 24-karat gold leaf. Again, this dark building with the gold at the top. Very skinny at the top, gold up there. Now, before anyone thinks of pulling a Spider Dan, take it up there and collect that gold, I do need to warn you, it is half the thickness of a sheet of saran wrap at 1/5000th of an inch thick. So, when you consider the time and effort it would take to collect, I don't think we're making minimum wage at that point. Best we leave it up there for everyone to enjoy. Now, in 1922, the owner of the Chicago Tribune, a Colonel Robert McCormick, held a contest for the most beautiful office building in the world. He received submissions from over 30 countries, and the winning design is actually coming up on the left. It's coming out from behind the Wrigley building. It's called Tribune Tower. Tribune Tower was completed in 1925. It was designed by New York architects Raymond Hood and John Mead Howell, and it was modeled after the Rouen Cathedral in Normandy. It's an absolutely gorgeous building, Tribune Tower. But my favorite part of Tribune Tower isn't actually visible here from the river. If you were to wander over there, though, during your trip to Chicago, you would see embedded in the tower at street level stones from other structures from around the world. There's a piece of the Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, the White House. There's even a piece of one of the World Trade Center towers from September 11, 2001, embedded in Tribune Tower. Everything's clearly labeled. It's like a niche museum right down the street that you can walk right up to. It's incredible. Tribune Tower. This also happens to be near the location of the first permanent settlement in Chicago. Right up here near where Founders Court is today was a trading post run by a Potawatomi woman named Katie Hawa and her husband of French and African descent, Jean-Baptiste Dusabo. Dusabo was reportedly born in Haiti to a French mariner father and an enslaved mother of African descent. He was educated in France, came to North America in the 1770s, specifically to New Orleans, where he then made his way north, meeting his wife, settling here in the 1790s. Now, as the first non-native person to create a settlement here, DuSable is considered the founder of Chicago, and we honor him with a bust up there on Michigan Avenue, as well as the names of the DuSable Bridge at Michigan Avenue, the DuSable Lakeshore